This MFL Marmac Coach Conversation brought to you by Birdnow Chevrolet, by Meyer Auto Service, and by Havlicek Trucking. We're with head coach Dan Anderson. And Coach, you told us in this district every week was going to be a dogfight, and you guys found that out in week one of district play as Waterloo Columbus gets you by 2 points. Looking back at that game, what are the main things that your team needs to take away moving forward to try to get better?
Yeah, I mean, on my whiteboard right here, when I came in on Sunday night and afternoon with the coaches, I mean, I put up their number one priority is our pad level and firing off. You know, we're shoulder blockers is what we do. I know it's not what everybody does, but it's what we do, and we believe in it, and we've been successful with doing that the last few years. I mean, we've been in the top 5 in total offense and scoring for years. So, you know, we believe in what we're doing, but our kids were not doing that on Friday night. We were getting, we were too high. And, you know, the D linemen and the linebackers from Waterloo Columbus were getting off blocks and making plays, and there was nowhere for Cullen to run. You know, he didn't have a lot of yards on Friday night. It had nothing to do with him. It was the fact with our linemen and our other backs, our tight ends, wing backs, they all understand they didn't get the job done in the first half. Second half, you know, it was a different story. We started moving the ball and, putting some points up, but there's no consolation prize for winning the second half. It's a 4-quarter game.
And you look at your running game, you mentioned it's the first time in about 10 games you haven't had a 100-yard rusher. What was Waterloo Columbus doing to you that perhaps took some things away that were successful for you for the first 3 weeks?
Yeah, you know, it wasn't so much what they were doing, it's just the personnel that they had. You know, their defensive line, you know, they were big and physical kids. They were, you know, they're 3 interior guys. We're 6'2", 6'3", and they were all 240 to 250, and they were solid kids, and we couldn't get them moved. Their linebackers were very aggressive, and they did a really good job of getting off of blocks. We knew who we had to block, but a lot of our times we'd get out there and we'd hit the guy and didn't maintain our block, and the guy would defeat the block, slide off, and be in there to make a play. And we had some holes, but they closed fast. I had a real good talk with them at halftime about, there's nothing that on my play sheet offensively or defensively that, it's going to solve this problem. It's fundamentals. And, it's just guts and toughness. And in the second half, our kids came back out and we outscored them 14-3 in the second half, shut them down. But, it wasn't enough. We scored with about 4.5 minutes left. They were down 16-14, went for the 2-point conversion to tie it up. They're a good football team. We didn't get in, and then they were able to get 2 more first downs and run the clock out. So it was, like you said, it was it's a good team. We knew that going into this district that, there's not going to be any freebies in this one. You're going to have to work for everyone. And unfortunately, we just came up a little bit short. But I think we felt like if we would have had another quarter or even another half a quarter or even another 4 minutes that, we could have got the ball back, and we were moving the ball well in the second half, but we just ran out of time.
And defensively, you gave up 16 points. Carter Gallagher, a dynamic kid, a good athlete at that quarterback position. All things considered, were there some positives on the defensive side, knowing the fact that with that much athleticism as Columbus brings to the table, you kept them relatively low to a point total? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was very pleased with the defense. I mean, that Carter Gallagher is all district football player. He's the leading passer in the district and from last season, and he's a dual threat guy. He could run too. And our defense was able to keep him below his average, well below his average in passing, well below his average in rushing, and below their average in points scored. So I was pleased with the defense and how they played. He had, I believe, 7 touchdowns and 1 interception through the first 3 games, and he didn't throw a touchdown pass. We picked him off twice. And so we made them work for their points and made them work for their yards. And, but it's all 3 phases of the game. It's offense, defense, and special teams. And they beat us in 2 of the 3. And that's what the margin of the victory was, was 2 points. So, they offensively, we didn't do enough. Special teams, we had a fumbled kickoff return, and they've got a very strong kicking game, kicked a field goal, and that was the difference in the game.
Is the big picture message moving forward, perhaps there's not a lot of margin for error when you're facing teams as good as you will face week in and week out in this district?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't make too many mistakes in this district and expect to win. We're fixing those things. Last night at practice, There was no X's and O's. It was all 100% fundamentals. And the kids probably got sick and tired of it, but we did nothing. And we're talking everybody, including quarterbacks and receivers. We did nothing but blocking for the whole practice, and that's it. We did nothing to prepare for this next game. As of, with fundamentals, with fundamentals, we did everything. It was no X's and O's. It was nothing about Sumner Fredericksburg for this week. It was all about us and fixing that, because if we don't get that fixed, we're not going to have a lot of success, because we're a running team. And if we're not blocking well, then it doesn't matter what we call. So we're going to improve. And I think that, the kids are going to come out this Friday night and play a lot differently than they played last Friday.
I know you didn't focus on them in practice yesterday, but my media manual tells me to ask about them. What do you expect out of Sumner Fred this week?
Yeah, it's not that I don't know about them. I didn't, we didn't relay any of that to the kids yet, because we got to fix us first. But so Sumner Fredericksburg, they're a physical team. They always are. They play great defense down there at Sumner Fred. They always have. I got a lot of respect for their coaching staff and the way they run the program down there. They're a little younger team. They've got a lot of young guys, but they play extremely hard. And they swarm the football. You see that on film. They tackle well. And they started finding their groove on offense too, because last week they put up 75 points. And so, we're going to have our hands full. They run the triple option a lot like Southwind does. They do other things besides the triple option, but obviously you have to be prepared for that. You have to know your assignments. And we just, it's our homecoming week. We got to make sure we don't have the distractions, and just have the right mentality going into this game, and not be asleep in the first half like we were. And the kids have gotten a bit of a chewing, and they understand the importance of being ready to play. Anybody can beat you on any Friday night. And I expect us to play a lot better this Friday night.
All right, Coach, hopefully it's a happy homecoming this Friday night, and you can get back on the winning track. Keep your kids healthy. We wish you best of luck.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
Dan Anderson, head coach of the Bulldogs. They're back home this week for homecoming against Sumner Fredericksburg.